can actually look in here and you can see if your bees are moving around. Now, granted, most likely they're going to be back here where the food would be, but you're still going to be able to see some there. And especially if you've got a full hive, they're going to be up in here. Good to see you again at Solitude Acres. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about what's in this box. But first, this is the time of the year, you know, late November, December, January, parts of February, that you're kind of planning for next year. You're thinking about how big do I want my apiary to get? Do I want more hives? Do I want swarm boxes? Do I want to get into queen rearing? You know, all sorts of stuff. So that's kind of what we've been doing, planning on different things. And one thing we planned on earlier this year that we wanted to get into, because you know we're always trying new little things that aren't too crazy, but we just like trying different things, is a hive called the Keepers Hive. It's some guys out of Pennsylvania. They've been building these things for several years. Different people that you've probably seen on YouTube have actually shown them. They've had them at trade shows, so probably some of you have seen them there if you've gone to some trade shows. But we decided to get one when they did their first fundraising offer that they did earlier this year. They basically raised the money before they started manufacturing them. While that fundraising was going on, they were locating a company that could actually build the wood products for them. They ended up finding a Amish woodworking company that actually built the wood products for them. We will be putting a link in there more about this box because they actually show you how to put it together, and it's better to watch it them, so we'll put that link in there. All I'm going to do is kind of show you how they pack it, the items that are in this. We will fast forward to an actually completed hive, so you can actually see how it's put together, and you'll see that at the end of this video, and we'll talk a little bit more about the actual hive itself. So basically, they do come with instructions, complete instructions. They pack them well. They have everything in here, all sorts of different things, which I should have had a knife for. And like I said, once we get this all together, I'll show you what all this stuff is. So obviously hinges, different things. It doesn't have the bottom board, so you have to have a 10-frame bottom board. This ends up with 8 frames actually in it. Then it has their box, which is their brood box, on the bottom. It ends up having an actual door that you'll see here in a little bit. This door is actually on the side of the hive, and that's how you get into the hive and manipulate it. It's kind of a cool little process. It has an observation window in it that you'll be able to see. And then as you can see, they just standard ends on these to put it together. This is obviously the bottom box. It does come with a 5-frame queen excluder. They actually have a thing, I can't think of the name of it right now. I'll talk about that later. There's a small nuke box, like basically a medium on top, and I can't think what they call that, but it's a box that goes in between the actual hive brood box and the upper boxes, which ends up being 5-frame nuke boxes on top, and that's how you build this out, and where you get your honeys up top. You can do fulls, some people do mediums on the top. And so basically, I mean, you see the quality of the wood. It's really good. The cuts are all good. They have it well protected on the bottom, on the sides, and on the top. So they ship well, didn't have any problem. They said it was gonna be here in like 3 days, and it was here in 3 days. They're a great bunch of guys. Every time I've written them asking questions on their videos, within a day or two, they're responding back. So they're very responsive. We're just gonna get into building this, and then we'll get back. Obviously, it's gonna be fast forwarded a few days. I'm gonna have a finished product, and then we'll talk about how this thing all went together and how it works and the gist of the box itself. Just like that, we have a completed keeper's hive. I'm just gonna show you the parts of this quick, but the gist of the whole thing, when they built these, they give you every hole that needs a screw or a nail is pre-drilled, so you know exactly where to go. So when you're putting it together, you just got to make sure, based on the video instructions they send you, that you're lining everything up right and you're not doing it. I didn't do that on this box, so I had to pre-drill all their holes for that one. So you have your basic cover. It has this piece of rubber there that helps keep water from going in there. You have your observation glass here. This is glass. So in the wintertime, you can actually look in here and you can see if your bees are moving around. Now, granted, most likely they're going to be back here where the food would be, but you're still going to be able to see some there. And especially if you've got a full hive, they're going to be up in here. But then you're not actually getting into the hive, which is a good thing. So you can pull that off. These are your frame, help your frame so they don't get propolized. what they do is the wood here, the frame, the edge of the frames go right up against the inside of the board. So the bees can't come around that way, which means they can't come up here. So when this is in place, as you can see over here, the bees can't come up and propolize all in between these edges. What that allows you to do is when you take these off, so I'm not going to say they're not going to get stuck in certain places, but you pull that out, you inspect it. They encourage you to have, what did they call it? Not a safe box, another box, 5-frame nuke next to you. You can put your frames in. So you can clear some space, not setting them on the ground. That's just what they do. I'm probably going to do that with this hive. So each time you do, you just pull this forward, pull it out, inspect, put it in the other box. Now, once you get enough out of here, you just pull forward so you can go, you see how you can go all the way back as you're pulling frames out. You can eventually get all the way back here, look at all your frames, and put them right back in the order you took them out. So that's kind of a neat feature, this, and without them being able to propolize around all that. So here you have a follower board that they put in here. If you don't need the full frame, now again, this is a 10-frame deep that they come with, but it only takes 8 frames because of the way they build the box. So you can put your follower board over there. The bees can't get around, so they have a smaller compartment. But as it grows and you add frames, you can pull this all the way out to here. But the follower board always stays here. That way they don't get over here and start doing crazy building. So now I'm going to pull these frames out of the way so you can really see what all comes with this. Obviously, you get those, and I can't remember what they call them, but Propolis guards, there's a word. You get your viewing glass there. All this, you get this box. You get this box here, which is just a medium nuke. Takes medium frames. Got a latch in the back. There's latches on the back of this too, as you can see. We'll show you that. When you first fill your hive up and put your bees in there, you can actually put some frames in here, medium frames, and they can come up here and start putting stuff. That's going to be for their stores to use. And later on, here in just a second, I'll show you the other. You also get this queen excluder that obviously sits on there. You got to have your frames in there before you put that on, because obviously it does that. So those are all the pieces you get. You have to build it, shipped, it's quality, the way they make it. I'm going to stick a few of these frames back in here quick, just so I can show you the rest of this. Now, the advantage that they say, it's a Langstroth's hide, but just modified. The advantage of it is you can do a bunch of different things. You could make this be, you could raise queens in here because of the way the top is. The queen can't get up there. You could make, make it a mating nuke. They have videos on their website. We'll put a link on there for that. They've got videos on their website that show a whole bunch of different things you can do. They have, when they've built these out, they use medium boxes all the way up. Once you get this put together, painted, all that, the other things you're going to have, you're going to have a bottom board, your preference, screened, solid, whichever you prefer. You're going to need a top cover. You're going to need either telescoping cover or migratory cover, whichever you prefer. And then I went ahead and bought 3 deeps nuke boxes that will be what we build. That's what we're going to put honey in. I figured instead of just doing mediums with only 5 frames, I'm sure I can handle this full of honey. We can get more honey that way as they build up. I bought 3. I may not even need them all, but I have them just in case, because you can always use extra equipment. And I'll just put one of these up here, but as you can see, you get this up here, obviously wouldn't be that high. Inner cover. And your top. The advantages, like I was saying, you can raise some queens in here, at least start them out, starter queens. You could build these boxes up to actually create nukes. Very simple, get them building, cover them up so they can't do their thing, let them mate, get them going, move them off to nukes. You can obviously create more honey. They actually had 150 pounds of honey out of one of these hives. I don't know how many boxes they had on that. I have to go back and look at the video again. That's in their videos. They also have a double queen box, which is basically a double version of that bottom. So it's a double 10, and you put 2 bottom boards on the bottom. But everything else is pretty much the same, except that's a single box that has a spacer in it. They have a video that shows the double queen, or the 2 queen as they call it, produce 250 pounds of honey in a year. Well, the queens are down here in the brood box. They can't get out. All the worker bees are bringing in stuff and just filling up your boxes up top. So they're working this really hard. When you got 2 of them side by side and those bees are going up there working, you got that much more bees working all those boxes. So it's obviously that if you got a good flow going on, you could get a lot of honey. The other reason they built these, and they got a video on it, is this is a great box to do the Damari method. When you get in spring and you need to split, she's getting full down here, they're getting crazy. You just pull your frames out. It's easy because you're just adding boxes and adding frames, building it out that way, putting your unused frames down here, you know, just comb or even just so they can build them out. Now you've got a Damari method, but you're not leaving the box at that point until you have to. But you may not have to. Maybe by the time you get honey supers on here, you're good. Again, when you have this on a stand that's on the ground, you basically you can sit on the ground, not on the ground, or in a short chair, stool next to this thing. And all you got to do is watch that fall. You can sit next to this thing on a stool. You're not standing up working the hive, at least the brood box. You just open this up. Okay, I need to work this. Pull this off. You are literally sitting on a stool next to this thing, doing this and checking your hive. Put it all back together. If everything looks good and you're done. If you don't have a reason to get up in your honey supers, you don't have to, because you know there's a lot of bees in there. They're putting stores in there, especially if they have stores already down below. So you don't have to worry about that. You just work the bottom, done and out. So maybe for people that harder to lift weight, it's tiring. You know, summertime, it gets hard to work in the hive. So you can relax a little bit more and not be so stressed. Moving boxes and all these frames, you're just working the brood box. And a standard Langstroth, you know, you got to pull all the boxes off to get down and see what's going in your brood boxes, whether it's single or double deep. It just takes extra work. It's just another thing to try, another thing to get exposed to. Their website is very informative. They got YouTube videos. We'll put a link to their website on there, and probably the YouTube channel too on here. They have that. Every time I have written to them, literally within a day and a half, they get back to me, whether it's on the YouTube channel or sending them an email. They are very, very responsive. These boxes, like I was telling you in the first part of the video, they've had these things out there for 7 years testing them. They've changed things, and you'll see it in the videos, how you see different modifications. Actually, some of them have a hanger on here that's an angle iron that when you pull these out, well, it's got to be open. When you pull these out, they have the place you can hang there, but you can do that yourself. That's no big deal. They're not shipping those with those now. But like I said, they've had them out there 7 years testing them. They've had Frederick Dunn, Dave Burns, and some other people actually do videos on them, talking about them. So this last year, they finally went out and did a crowdfund so they could actually mass produce these. They have an Amish woodworking shop in Pennsylvania I think it's in Pennsylvania that they're doing it, that's making all the woodwork and getting it all ready. And I don't know if they're packing up. Somebody's packing it up and it gets shipped out to you. Go to their website. They're trying to ramp up production. So I know, not sure when this video will be out, but I know the next few months they're ramping up so they can get these hives out quicker and start shipping them faster, because they're still trying to ramp up all their production. But they seem true to their word. Great bunch of guys. It's worth at least taking a look at it. Whether you're going to get into that, again, Langstroth is always the cheapest all the way. Something to put in your arsenal of beekeeping. So hopefully that helps you understand what the Keeper's Hive is. In the coming weeks, we'll finally be getting back in the bee yard and doing more things, since we've learned a lot in this last year. We'll get ahead of things a little bit better. So we'll get those videos out as soon as we get shooting them and able to get in there. And we'll link to this below in the description with all their information. We appreciate your comments. We respond as soon as we can see them and answer. So we appreciate those. It's always good to hear from everybody. Here in the next few weeks, we're going to be doing a video. My wife does, lack of a better word, peanut butter balls with seeds and different stuff in it that we give to our birds and our log feeders. If you've seen any of our bird feeders, you see them eating that stuff. So we're going to do a video of the recipe of that. It's messy, but it's super easy, and the birds love it. We'll link the recipe in the description. So just keep a lookout for that video coming soon. Again, we appreciate you. God bless. Have a good day. Pow, and just like that. I have to. We got the pow. Okay, fine. Look forward to looking 2025. Don't forget to. Gabriel isn't here.